In the last couple of years, if you pick up a magazine or a newspaper or watch any business news channel, all you see are stories of tech startups raising unholy amounts of funding to reach a unicorn status or a decacorn status. These startups are led by flamboyant founders whose every tweet and social post is then infinitely amplified. Then COVID-19 happened and everyone shifted focus to healthcare. For the first time in a long time, people faced a situation where health was the only priority. This resulted in a boom in healthcare industry and a renewed interest of venture capitalists in healthcare startups. So in this week's episode of Global Healthcare Archives, let us look at a few such prominent healthcare and medical startups which acquired funding in 2021. The global lockdown followed the COVID-19 pandemic led to the rise of telemedicine and teleconsulting services. Naturally, this led to a mushrooming of telemedicine companies that cater to a host of pathologies such as cardiovascular disease, cancer, mental health, and other areas of impact. So let's track some of the companies that recently closed funding deals, unwrapping the sheer scale of business of startups today. Beginning with something that impacted every region, across socio-economic strata, the lockdown shined a bright spotlight on mental health issues, bringing attention to depression and suicidal tendencies being at an all-time high. Naturally, telemedicine companies that cater to mental health, wellness, and other areas were primed to thrive. Mental health startup InnerR has raised $5.2 million from Lightbox and other investors. Interestingly, this is one of the largest fundraisers in the entire Indian mental health space to date. InnerR's platform and app focuses on remote, anonymous, and continual access to mental health resources. It was recently recognized as the best app for good in 2020 by Google's Play Store in India. On a larger scale, Fable, a 3-year-old health tech startup catering to patients with chronic illnesses in India, raised $12 million in a new financing round led by Manipal Hospitals and SOSV. Similarly, Mfine, a Bangalore-based startup that provides users with on-demand access to medical care through virtual consultations and connected care programs, has raised $16 million in funding led by Heritas Capital. Along with telemedicine, the COVID-19 crisis underlined the need for process optimization when it came to the delivery of healthcare services, with efficient strategies to administer appropriate treatment, process insurance, and distribute and administer vaccines too. Healthcare startups that focus on this vital aspect of healthcare have received significant funding. In the first week of March, Bangalore-based digital healthcare platform Medvarsity announced the closure of its $40 million Series B funding round. Medvarity's e-health platform enables customers to access the entire gamut of healthcare services such as teleconsultation services, lab tests, and information on drugs, medicines across all devices. In fact, its proposed merger with online doctor consultation platform DocApp would boost Medvarity's leadership in digital healthcare industry. Given the wide scope of optimization in healthcare processes, it's no surprise that the first unicorn in the Indian healthcare space, the SaaS-based startup Innovacre, caters to this vertical of healthcare. Its main product, InCare, covers patient assignment, automated outreach, collaborative work lists, and the ability to measure team and individual productivity, among other features. With its stellar growth, Innovacre and its solutions have aimed to cover all aspects of the healthcare industry, including remote patient monitoring, bundled payments, and overall healthcare data platforms at large. This Noida and San Francisco-based startup has raised about $100 to $150 million in its Series D fund, led by Tiger Global Management. A similar process distributor has been brought out by the Bangalore-based Savio HealthTech, a B2B e-commerce marketplace for pharmacies. They raised $4 million as part of their seed round funding from Matrix Partners and RTP Global. The startup provides pharmacies a single procurement point for all medicines in all categories, which solves issues of inventory and demand mapping. While digital health startups are obtaining funding, healthcare companies with a brick-and-mortar operations are not far behind. Cannabis startup Hemp Horizons, a GMP-certified and US FDA-registered hemp seed processing company, is offering Ayurveda-based medicinal products. It has raised about $300,000 as part of its seed fund, led by Mumbai Angels Network with participation from AngelList. And now that's something for the naturalists. Back to tech and healthcare, bionics, or biologically inspired engineering, is the application of biological methods to the design of engineering systems and modern technology. A common example of this is the bionic limbs used in patients undergoing limb amputation. A bionic limb is controlled by electric signals from the muscle and nerves above the level of amputation. Makers Hive, a bionics firm, has raised $9 million in growth capital from an idea stage fund established by Starfish Growth Partners and InvestPad. And Elucidata, a biomedical molecular data company that is developing a drug discovery platform called Poly, has raised $5 million in its pre-Series A funding round led by Ivy Capital Ventures. Their platform gives scientists access to curated and analysis-ready data from over 100,000 biomedical datasets. And to round it all up, Lilac Insights, a genetic diagnostic laboratory, has raised $7 million from various investors for expanding its activities. The 2011 incorporated company offers specialized diagnostic services for prenatal, newborn, and oncological disorders. All of this just in the first 70 days of 2021. Clearly, the year has started up on a very promising note for healthcare startups, and it's only fair to assume that this growth will sustain in the coming future. After all, as the famous author and historian Thomas Fuller said, health is not valued until sickness comes. Well, that's all for Global Healthcare Archives this week. I look forward to seeing you all next week with new updates from the healthcare domain. Stay safe, stay informed.